How are you reading the whole situation around the Suez Canal? It has been keeping the markets and watchers quite excited. How much is the impact the prices are taking from this news?
Well, good afternoon, Manisha. I think it's going to add considerable risk premium over the next couple of days. No one's really sure how long, from the readings that I've done, no one's sure how long this is going to take to work through. Is it going to be over the weekend they're going to solve the issue, or is it going to run for many days or if not weeks? So there's the critical issue as far as supply and what impact it has to European demand, and we understand where it is geographically, feeding straight into the Med. So I think there's a great degree of uncertainty that really is wrapped around that whole issue with the Suez.
So, Peter, what should the investors be doing? I mean, I do understand there's a lot of uncertainty. You do not know how it will play, how many days it can, and how much of supply actually is getting impacted. So I know those numbers are still not clear right now. How would you, advise investors then to watch this news development?
Well, I think I'm going to watch two things, Manisha. I'm going to watch what happens as far as US dollar. I'm going to keep a close eye on that leading into Easter, and it's nearly at 93 handle for the US dollar index. Secondly, I'm going to look at that crude market, and I think that volatility will remain, but there's every chance that if it becomes a major issue, then it'll put a matter of $3, $4, $5, $6 on this very, very quickly. So we could be back at that 70 handle as far as Brent, 66, 67 WTI because of the risk premium built into it, because that's the uncertainty leading forward. No one knows. And that's the worst case if things really progress, that this is going to be a matter of many days, if not weeks.
So you would still rather be on the buy side, as you said, Peter. But on the other side, not too many fundamentals really are supportive, because when you look at the Asian demand, that really seems to be declining. The markets have seen rising COVID cases in Europe as well. And as you mentioned, the strength in US dollar is weighing on too. So how would you look at these fundamentals? And I know it's a difficult day to trade, but how would you look at the rest of the bearish news?
Well, I take that on board, Manisha, but I think there's still more upside for if that risk premium. So I think there's a chance that it could, gallop up and be a $3, $4, $5 hit to the upside quickly if that risk premium really is interpreted to the market. The second part, as you said, you're talking about the COVID numbers and what happens as far as lockdowns, continuing lockdowns rolling across Europe, and that demand destruction there. So I think from those fundamentals, that's a softness of price. But I think the risk premium is going to stand above that in the short term, because that puts fear into a market that if you block the Suez Canal, that really is a choke point. Not as bad as the Strait of Hormuz, but it's a very significant choke point.
Peter, if this does get resolved by the weekend, then how do you see the markets opening on Monday?
I think it'll be softer. I want to see what happens as far as New York tonight, Manisha, and, that's a big night trade. Friday night, I'm thinking it could be quite a volatile night for crude tonight. I wouldn't be surprised to put another couple of % on between now and what the market shuts in about 13 and a half hours. So I think there's a bit more upside, but if they solve this over the weekend, then that'll be stripped out of the market on Monday for crude. If they've got, that evergreen tank, an evergreen container ship sorted, and it's back on the. But from the photos that I'm seeing, Manisha, it doesn't look like it's going to be an easy task to float this huge cargo ship, 400 metres long. It looks very, very dire, actually.
It sure does, Peter. And as you said, 2% of a move doesn't really sound like a lot, because 4 to 6% per day is what we basically have clocked in all of this week. But you also mentioned about the US dollar. What's your sense on that? Because we've seen most of the high-yielding currencies, commodity currencies, headed for a week, negative close for this week. Is that how you are factoring it in for the coming week also?
I think so. Leading into Easter next week, I think it's just going to be a continued grind up from here for US dollar index. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 93.2. It's really shot the lights out. It's taken a lot of traders by surprise. So I think that demonstrates the softness across that eurozone. What we're seeing, big moves, Manisha, in the last matter of a month for yen, pound, euro, Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar, New Zealand dollar got stripped out. So it's been a very, very solid move, and I think that will continue for next week.